joining us today. I'm Ray Chavez. I'm the president and CEO of the San Antonio Manufacturers Association, or SAMA, and it is my pleasure to be your moderator for our Women in Manufacturing Breaking Barriers for Successful Careers in Manufacturing. Today's panel discussion is designed to provide young women, either in high school or post-high school, information to help them consider a rewarding career in manufacturing. I highly encourage independent school districts throughout our region to use this panel discussion, which will be recorded, to show young women the successes of current women leaders in our industry. Additionally, we will provide information on training programs available to get the training needed to get into manufacturing. SAMA is providing this panel discussion to inspire the next generation by talking about the industry and the careers in modern manufacturing. Before we go any further, I would like to ask Michelle Moriarty to maybe go over a little bit of the details on how folks can ask questions and other little technical stuff for the Zoom meeting today. Michelle?
Yes, good morning, everybody. I wanted to just go over everything. If y'all have any questions or anything during the panel discussion, would you please type them in the chat box, and I will be happy to convey those questions and we'll get them answered for you. If we should run out of time and not reach your question, we will reach out to our panelists and get those questions answered and then submit them out to the group. Also, if I could remind everybody to please make sure that while our panelists are speaking, that your microphone is on mute and your video as well. And with that being said, we'll turn it back over to Ray.
Thank you, Michelle. So as a perspective, and according to the National Association of Manufacturers, currently there are nearly 900,000 open jobs in manufacturing and 4 million expected jobs to be filled between now and 2030. According to the research by Manufacturing Institute and Deloitte, manufacturers must accelerate efforts to attract and support manufacturing talent. The majority of our regional manufacturers have positions to fill as well, and they too must have programs to attract and support manufacturing talent. Currently,
yeah, I'm just trying to get on my Zoom meeting. What do you mean I'm ready?
Currently, we are seeing an increase in women in advanced manufacturing positions and excelling. I encourage you to look at this video that I provided this on YouTube here at your leisure to see how young women are taking the challenge of the Toyota AMT program and getting entry-level training in automotive in the automotive industry. Which has resulted for many of them to have a rewarding career. So again, go to the YouTube link that I provided so you can hear these young women talk about their journey starting off in the training programs with the AMT program. So with automation and robotics, manufacturing plants are looking for individuals to train and provide rewarding careers in our industry where they can work in safe and healthy conditions. We are grateful today to have the following women leaders with us to talk about women in manufacturing and breaking those barriers for successful careers in manufacturing. I will introduce them and then ask each to give a brief summary of themselves and how they got into manufacturing. Afterwards, I'll ask some questions of them with an emphasis on how rewarding their careers are and what advice would they give to young women who are thinking about getting into manufacturing with into manufacturing. With us today is Mary Batch, Talent Management Manager, Human Resources, Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Texas, Incorporated. Mona Hemley, CEO, Hemley Plastics Manufacturing and Industrial Design. Vanessa Vandepute, President, Dixie Flag and Banner Company. Terry Rogers, President, OW Lee Company, Incorporated, and Bianca Rhodes, CEO, Knight Aerospace. Mary, I'm going to start with you, if I may. Can you give us a brief summary of yourself and how you got into manufacturing?
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction, Ray. So we'll just start with the Toyota Motor Manufacturing. I've been there with 15 years. My areas of responsibility in talent management are corporate and compliance training, leadership development programs, role-based training, maintenance fundamental skills training, and future pipeline initiatives. We play a critical role in growing the next workforce generation in technology and been instrumental in exposing the youth in San Antonio to several STEM initiatives through interactive engagement activities beginning at the middle school. Also, one of the founding partners of the established Texas Fame Alamo chapter currently we have 11 companies, and with Bexar County Economic Development with the Toyota's Advanced Manufacturing Technician Program to address future workforce gaps. Also, too, we work with the Department of Labor, which has recognized Texas Fame Alamo AMT program as a DOL apprenticeship. Now, how I got into manufacturing, well, that's a whole story by itself. I could write a book on it, but I've always enjoyed doing something different from others and didn't want to be boxed in or dedicated into just doing something because I was a woman. So therefore, I joined the Air Force, and I was told typically there was that I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to hack
Some
it.
help?
And I actually went in there and took care of everything. Walked out with 7 awards and commendations when I left the military, and then got into my first manufacturing position with Lockheed Martin Marietta. And then I progressed in my career to Rockwell International, did a stint for 14 years with the UT Health Science Center and Research and Development and the Brooks City base, and then also now with Toyota for 15 years. I've always had the frame of mind that I can do anything. And so individuals would have to prove me that I couldn't do it. So that's how I really got involved in it. I love manufacturing. I love the environment and the products that are out there for individuals. And that's my story.
Thank you, Mary, and you're going to stick to it. Thank you again. Mona,
You're welcome.
you bet. Mona, how about you?
Good morning, everybody. Well, basically, I always say that in a way, I didn't choose manufacturing. Manufacturing chose me, but it started right after college. I graduated as an architect, but at that same year, my husband developed a product, obtained a patent on it, and it was made out of plastic. So instead of giving that product for someone to manufacture it, we rented a small warehouse, bought one machine and started manufacturing our own product. And that's how the business started, and we grew from there. In addition to making our own product, we started marketing for other products. We landed a medical product with Colin Medical at that time. And from then on, we went into custom design and switched slowly from architecture to industrial design, specializing in the plastic industry. So we ran the company together, my husband and I, from 1988 till 2009. 2009 is the year that I lost my husband and business partner to cancer. And that was also the year of the Great Recession. I was faced with a choice whether I should auction it, close it, sell it, keep it going. And out of honor and respect to my husband and my team, I decided I'm going to go on against all odds. And it was a hell of 3-4 years to get the company back on track, but here we are, and loving every minute of it. Manufacturing is hard work, but it is so satisfying just to walk into a place and seeing a product that you actually made or helped make. It's just an amazing feeling. So that's my story. And I appreciate Sama. I appreciate every woman in manufacturing and every man in manufacturing, because at the end of the day, we all wake up not saying I'm a man or a woman, but saying we've got a job to do and let's do it.
Mona, thank you so much. So
Thank you.
insightful. Really appreciate that. Vanessa.
Everyone, good morning. Vanessa Vandepute with Dixie Flag and Banner Company. And for those of you who don't know Dixie Flag, we manufacture flags, banners, decoration, signage, pretty much any banner type of thing on textile. We're a San Antonio-based business. We've been around for 63 years. And I can say that I got into manufacturing because I was born into it. My grandfather started Dixie decorators in 1958 with 2 sewing machines as a in-home business, and he ran it. And my father took it over, I think, in 1980, and really grew it into the manufacturing it is today. And my dad retired in 2018. So I have been involved with the business as early as I can remember. As many family businesses go, you don't wait until high school to start working. And so we were very involved early on, just learning the business, assisting in production, picking up pins from the sewing room floor, being a help in any way we could. I joined the business back in 2006 and made my way pretty much through most of the departments to learn about the business. So I've done everything from sales and marketing, management, and I love it. It's a blessing to be able to work with such a great group of people for a legacy business like Dixie Flag.
Vanessa, thank you so much. Very insightful as well. Bianca, would like for you to go next.
Sure. So how I got started in manufacturing is when I came out of college, I went into banking and I was a commercial lender. And as a lender, I had a big portfolio of businesses, and a lot of them were manufacturers. And they were very, very varied. I had everything from a sausage manufacturer to medical device companies. So, and everything in between. And what happened is I just got exposed to so many different businesses and so many different types of manufacturing techniques and facilities, and really loved that whole thing. I went to work for one of my customers and eventually as their chief financial officer, and then went over to another one of my customers, Kinetic Concepts, KCI here in town. And, you know, we were manufacturing hospital beds and other medical devices. Manufacturing reported to me. That was, you know, one of the areas that reported to me. So I was really involved in that. When I left KCI, I took the company private and was able to retire. But I didn't really retire. I ended up consulting, and most of my consulting was with manufacturers. You know, again, a big variety. A lot of them were medical device manufacturers because that had been a lot of my experience. And so, you know, eventually I met Knight Aerospace. They were looking to manufacture medical modules, big hospital rooms that go on the back of cargo aircraft to transport patients and treat them in the air versus just transporting them, and versus just putting them on the back of a cargo aircraft like we've been doing for decades. So I thought it was, you know, a great opportunity to be back in manufacturing, to be, you know, involved in aerospace, military, medicine, like all these great aspects of it that were very appealing to me, and have just really, really enjoyed. When I took over the company, when I bought the company, we had only had one woman in its history, and that was the receptionist. And now we had probably 20 employees at that time. Now we have about 65, and about 25% of them are women. And so we have women in a lot of different aspects of our manufacturing, you know, activities, and are really, really enjoying it.
Bianca, thank you so much. And Knight Aerospace, you guys are doing a fantastic job for our military, especially with those modules that go in the back of the military aircraft. It's just very, very, very rewarding what you're doing, not only for your company, but also for the military members themselves too.
Thank you.
You bet, you bet. Terry, can I ask you?
Terry, you'll unmute yourself real quick.
There we go. Hi, I'm Terry Lee Rogers, and I am in our company, are new to the state of Texas. We've been here since January. We manufacture outdoor furniture, which is a really fun commodity to offer to our dealers and the consumers. Our history is that we are also a family-owned and operated business. My grandfather started the business in 1947 in Pasadena, California. And then my parents took it over and brought it to a level. Then it was my brother, my brother-in-law, myself, who've been involved for the past almost 30 years now, growing the business again. We're a national company. We sell all throughout the United States, Canada, a little bit of Mexico, not too much internationally anymore. China kind of beat us out on that. We are a US manufacturer. We do everything here, from all the fabrication. We make cushions, we make tabletops, we do all our in-house design work. So again, family owned and operated. I initially got started in the business in 1994. Previous to that, I was in the legal business. I was actually a paralegal, and I had my own business doing paralegal work for different kinds of legal stuff. So being in the I thought I liked the legal field, but being in the manufacturing sector has been really, really fun, really challenging. As a woman, I've never let it hold me back. The furniture business is kind of a male-dominated industry, or has been historically. I've been the chairman of the board of our national trade association, first woman. And I just feel like a woman in the manufacturing sector, we are able to bring something to the table that is a little bit more, I don't know, broad, and because we're appealing to the consumer, and it's a little bit of the design industry. I think that I and then other women that we've hired have been able to bring a lot more to our company to make us more competitive in our industry. So that's my story.
Thank you, Terry. I really appreciate that. So in order to start maybe some conversation with our audience in a little bit, let me ask a question, and we'll go in the same order that we just did with the you all right now. But the question I have is, did you all have mentors? And if so, how did they support you? Mary?
The mentors are so important in any field, but yes, in the very, very beginning, I really didn't have the mentors available to me, simply because I was usually the only female that was in that department or within that company. But what I did do is that I always sought out the person that I thought was the most the subject matter expert. I would seek that person out, and then I would actually latch on to them and basically made them my mentor, because I felt it was really important, because you need to have somebody there, not only guiding you through the things that are unknown to you, but also to be that advocate for you, for that person that will actually work alongside with you and actually more in a supportive role. I think it's so important to have mentors, and I continue to have mentors even today, and just about everything that I do. So I think it's, I just don't see how you can go about life without a mentor.
Thank you, Mary. Mona, your mentor?
So for me, it was a yes and no and a yes. So when we started the company, my husband was my mentor and I was his mentor. We both started in the business together. It was a new industry for us, and we just relied on each other. That went on from 1988 to 2009. When Abe passed away, I lost my mentor, my business partner, and at that time, I really didn't have anybody else. So it took me 5 years, from 2009 to 2015. I was just mainly me. And then I started building my network, and I started getting involved with SAMA and other organizations, and I obtained and got to know a lot of mentors. Now, my advice for everybody would be not to do it like I did, to go ahead and expand your network and have mentors, because it's amazing how much you can learn from them. But going back, I don't regret that period, because that period of having no mentors and nobody to go back to allowed me to zone out, think, learn to myself, and rely on my gut feeling. So for those of you that don't have anybody, don't think that that time is a waste, but start working about building your mentorship and your network.
Thank you, Mona. Vanessa, who was your mentor?
Yes, thank you, Ray. My mentor was and still is my dad, Pete Van de Putte. With a family business, I was very lucky in that I had easy access and almost constant access to him, not only in the business but also personally. One of those things is I'm one of 6 children, and so we all worked at Dixie Flag growing up. And what he encouraged all of us to do was to really find your passion. And so we never felt like any of us were forced or had to no other options, or to work in the family business. And so all 6 of us went off and learned and explored different things. My dad, before he joined the family business after his father, he was a high school band director. So he was an artist, and that's what I went off and did. I went to film school and enjoyed making movies until I found my way back to San Antonio. And so that was kind of the one thing that he guided at first, was encouraging everyone to follow their passion. And then when I did start working back in San Antonio, I was working actually in events, not in film, and ended up getting pulled, being asked to work back at Dixie. And one thing that he I specifically remember the conversation we had where he asked me to work with him, not for him. And that was so impactful at that moment. And that's something that I try to remember as I go forward with every hire that I make, is that we're building a team. You're looking for people to work with you, not for you. And so you really want to find those personalities and those people who you're going to enjoy working with and that can really contribute to the team atmosphere.
Great. Thank you, Vanessa. So Bianca, who was your mentor?
I have been so blessed because I started out in commercial lending. I had a lot of different customers, and they were the leaders of San Antonio. I had customers like Red McCombs and Marty Winder, who really took me under their wings. And, I was really inquisitive. I worked with Marty, for instance, on bringing SeaWorld to San Antonio and advanced micro devices. So I got exposed to the C-suite of, really powerful companies and a lot of really powerful leaders. Unfortunately, there were not a whole lot of women. There were not a whole lot of women in banking, but there weren't a lot of women owning businesses in San Antonio. So most of my mentors were men. There were a few women there. Stephanie Coleman was the head of the Economic Development Foundation way back then, and she, took an interest in me. And I would latch on to these people like white on rice because they had so much to teach me, and I just took advantage of all of that. When I came to Knight Aerospace, the first thing I did is I went out and found 2 former, Air Force men who were phenomenal. And one of them was the former Surgeon General of the United States Air Force, and really the designer of how we evacuate patients. And the other one was the 4-star Transcom commander. And I brought them onto my team, and they have both mentored me so much through my experience at Knight Aerospace, and introduced me to so many people and so many, ideas and concepts. So I've been super, super fortunate to have had a whole lot of people around me that I have just really stuck with, and who have absolutely made my career. No question about it.
Thank you, Bianca. Terry, who was your mentor?
So I've got a couple of different avenues of mentorship that I took advantage of. first and foremost, I would say my mother was the one who taught me a lot of the business acumen that I have now. And she also taught me the importance of participating in associations such as San Antonio Manufacturers Association. We have the International Casual Furniture Association. And I tried to join different associations to really get my confidence up in being able to relate to the different aspects of business. My mom told me how important it was to pay your bills on time, double check everything. I mean, and it's been a good learning experience for us moving from California to Texas and reevaluating all our processes and how it's so easy to get complacent and comfortable in your processes and the people who are doing it. And then you've got to go start from scratch and go reevaluate your processes. You learn so much. I mean, it's been kind of painful, but you learn so much. The other avenue was I had a man that was, I think he was about my age. And when I was just starting in the business, I was going to go to the meeting and I walk into this room and it was a board meeting and there was all men. And they looked at me like I was from another planet. I was like, oh my gosh, I better get out of here. But he kind of saw the private look of deers and headlights that I had and took me aside and he says, you know what, we need more women in our industry. And you have the guts to walk into this meeting of all men and sit down and really not knowing anybody. And so he says, I'm going to ask for you to be on the board of this association, which I'm still on the board today. And they make decisions in the casual furniture industry. But that just recognizing that need in our industry and him taking me under his wing and encouraging me to have the guts, I guess, to go out there and participate was really, really kind of career shaping for me. So I think from the outside to identify somebody that will take you and show you the ropes, I guess. And then on the inside, you need to have people on the inside that you admire and, you know, they have tenacity or they have the leadership skills or they have the ways to relate to the employees. You always got to take bits and pieces from that. And then the other thing is just then try to do the same back, give back, and try to be a mentor to somebody else that's new in the industry or new in the company to, you know, to shape their careers. So I would say it was my mom, and the guy's name is Mike Eccles, and he's still on, I think he's still in California, but he made an impact on my life.
Terry, thank you so much. That was very insightful as well. And I appreciate you all talking a little bit about how you all started in manufacturing and talk about your mentors and how exciting the business is. And what I would like to do now, because I know we're going to have a lot of young people that are going to want to know, well, all right, this all sounds really good, but what can I do? Where can I go to get into manufacturing? So at this time, I would like to go ahead and talk about the organizations and programs that are available not only for students and schools, but also for manufacturers. And you can see the list right here. And I do want to comment that SA Works is a partner with us in putting on manufacturing, promoting manufacturing, I should say. So I have Christopher Mammon on the Zoom meeting. And so Christopher, thank you for being a part of this. And so I want to talk about Alamo Academies. This was the Alamo Academies was created in 2001. Its mission is to expose high school students to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. These are the careers driven by industry. Students enrolled in their programs are exposed to high demand career pathways through a hands-on curriculum. The goal of these programs is to help students make better decisions on their educational and career plans after high school graduation. The two programs that manufacturers are accustomed to is the Advanced Technology and Manufacturing and the Aerospace Academies. They are both 2-year programs for juniors and seniors, consisting of college-level courses and an 8-week summer internship with a local manufacturing or aerospace company sponsor. For more information, please go to their website, which I have provided here on this slide. Next is Texas FAST. This is the Texas Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. It's the Advanced Manufacturing Technician, or AMT, apprenticeship, and it is a regional manufacturing partnership with a Department of Labor recognized apprenticeship program that creates a pipeline of highly skilled manufacturing workers. Texas FAME apprenticeships are offered in a 2-year AMT associate's degree program in partnership with St. Philip's College. Industry partners sponsor students in an earn while you learn hybrid environment with 2 days in class and 3 days on the company job site. Next is SA Works. They're dedicated to help salmon manufacturers elevate the profile of manufacturing and skilled trades professions. They address the misperceptions and raise awareness and interest in jobs in the manufacturing industry across our region. As with SAMA, they also want to make sure their local campaign to promote manufacturing is authentic and ask manufacturers to provide any videos, photos, or testimonials they can use to highlight your companies and current job openings. If you have immediate hiring needs, both SAMA and SA Works are directly promoting job openings across its social media channels and across the city's workforce partner agencies. For more information, please contact Christopher Mayman at christopher@greatersatx.com or visit their website at sawork.org. I think I missed one of another company that another program we have, and that's the Texas FAME Accelerated Skills Training, or Texas FAST. This program offers up to 12 weeks of boot camp style training for an entry-level multi-skilled technician career. Upon graduation, students undergo a 6-week on-the-job training with a local manufacturing company. Texas FAST uses Scientific Management Techniques Incorporated, or SMT, technical training curriculum based on the demand and skills Texas FAME companies need for technicians. Prospective students go through a mechanical skills assessment and are evaluated based primarily on the aptitude rather than formal education or previous work experience. For more information, please go to www.texasfame.com. This one is for manufacturers. This is the Department of Labor apprenticeships. Understanding that most manufacturers want a bigger stake in training individuals for their companies as opposed to waiting for some time for a qualified candidate to graduate a training program, SAMA promotes apprenticeship certification programs to the Department of Labor. Currently, there are a few companies in our region that have a Department of Labor certified program. Their mission is to help qualified and reliable individuals learn their trade and become highly coveted employees. They do their part to help educate and pass along the knowledge they have learned to the next generation of manufacturers. For more information on the labor certified apprenticeship programs, please visit the DOL website, which I have provided for you. So now we talk about women in manufacturing and the leaders that we have on our panel, and we talk about the programs that are out there for students or young people can look at, whether it be in high school or post high school, for them to get into our industry. But everybody wants to know, okay, what's the money? That's the big key right there. People want to know what's in it for me for money. And I'm glad that our partner, Workforce Solutions Alamo, was able to provide us this nice chart that kind of walks us through the manufacturing industry, the things that you need to know, and specifically why manufacturing. They explain why, because it provides a good job with good pay. And you can see what the average wage is. And this is the average hourly wage and the yearly wage. And so it also provides information on how to get started. And so they also break it out in different levels of what the pay is going to be. And you can see the career level, entry level, and it explains who they are. And then you have the career level intermediate, which are machinists. And then we talk about the career level advanced, which is mechanical engineering technicians. And then, of course, you have the career, oops, sorry about that. You have the career level very advanced professional, which are the industrial production managers. And to help individuals know where they can get this training, obviously you can go to the programs that we provided for you earlier, but there are also these other ones as well, which is the Alamo College District, Coastal Bend College, Southern Careers Institute, TCR, and the South Texas Vocational Technical Training. So just to go into a little bit of highlights of manufacturing in our region, I just want to briefly cover what it is. And specifically, the manufacturing industry is one of the largest sectors of the San Antonio economy. The regional economic impact was $40.5 billion annually, including the impact of exported products. It has been a major economic driver in the region for decades. Manufacturing in the area is very diverse, spanning virtually every industrial production line, and principal sectors have grown and evolved over time in response to national and global changes in the manufacturing environment. These are our manufacturing industry sectors. The transportation is our largest and consists of aerospace and motor vehicles. We also have equipment and metal products. It is followed by machinery, computer and electronic components, primary and fabricated metal products, repair and maintenance of machinery and electronics. The diversified products is printing, food and beverages, textiles, apparel and leather, furniture, and miscellaneous products, which includes medical equipment. And of course, we have materials and electricity, which is wood, paper, non-metallic products, petroleum, plastic, and rubber chemicals, and electricity. This is a review of our manufacturing industry sectors by percentage. As you can see that the largest is transportation. It consists of 32.4%. For aerospace and motor vehicle. Equipment and metal products is 24.6%, and the diversified is 21.9%. Materials and electricity is 21.1%. Additionally, there are over 1,500 plus manufacturing companies in the region, and 80% of them employ less than 50 employees, and the transportation and equipment metals are the leading sectors. In 2016, a total of 51, I should say close to 52,000 people worked in manufacturing. It constituting 5% of the total number employed within the SA metropolitan area. Of greater significance than the overall headcount is the steady evolution of manufacturing job opportunities away from low skill sectors of the economy and toward high skill, high tech sectors. This has resulted in significant wage gains as the manufacturing workplace has evolved to meet the increased technological demands of the industry. Being concerned about careers in manufacturing and where the workforce is going to come from, SAMA has looked at a couple of organizations because, as I've said before, the technology has changed the face of manufacturing. We have an increased use of robotics and automation in all the sectors that we just talked about. And so in order to be able to get individuals interested in careers in manufacturing, we had started to partner with First Robotics. And First Robotics is a great program that starts in elementary school and goes all the way up through high school, where it introduces the students on the issues of robotics, how they work, how do you build them, and how do you compete with them in various competitions throughout the United States through the FIRST robotics program. And so this is a great program. I highly encourage manufacturers to sponsor a team from a local high school or elementary school or junior high, and just to get these individuals interested in STEM and how robotics and automation works. Additionally, we have the Alliance for Technology, Education, and Applied Math and Science, or the A-Teams. And so that is a result of a merger of the A-Team and SAMSEC, the San Antonio Mathematics and Science Education Coalition. Together, they highlight major challenges that are on the horizon at both local and national levels due to the shortage of younger workers entering the highly skilled manufacturing trades. To help increase the promotion of manufacturing to students, a teacher externship with industry program was created. So for the teachers that are listening to this panel discussion, please know that this program is available to all the participating independent school districts, that you may want to look into this and be a part of it. It sponsored professional development events to help math and science teachers become more aware of the use of math and science concepts and principles in local business and industry settings. These summer professional development sessions activities have included visits to local businesses and industry, companies and organizations, presentations by local industry representatives, and the development of math and science lessons, integrating examples from area partners. For more information, please go to this website for that information. Now, before we get into the Q&A portion of the panel discussion, let me ask our panelists to briefly say a few words to encourage young women to think about a career in manufacturing. So, Mary, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Ray. This is one of the areas that I actually have absolute passion for. I love women getting into manufacturing and really showcasing what they're capable of. And that's one of the things that I would have to say here, is that a lot of times we put ourselves in a box and we don't think we can do things. But what I have learned through my experience over the years is that if one advances confidently in the direction of her dreams and endeavors to live the life which she has imagined, she will meet with success in the most unexpected ways. So this is the thing here, is that really understanding. I encourage everyone to go and look at that video that Ray actually showed earlier, because this is a video of 14 young women that decided to get into manufacturing and get into a role that is predominantly male. And just listening to their stories and how they approached it, and some of the different things that they went through to get there, it's just amazing, because they're talking about their personal experience. And that's all I really can go here to, is my personal experience, is that what you have to be able to do is just don't let expectations and opinions of other people affect your decisions. Remember, it's your life, not theirs. Do what matters most to you. Do what makes you feel alive and happy, and don't let the expectations and ideas of others limit who you are. If you let others tell you who you are living in their reality and not yours. There is more to life than pleasing people, and there is much more to life than following others' prescribed path. There is so much more to life than what you have experienced right now. Getting in manufacturing, I will guarantee you that you will not have a dull moment. You will be challenged. You'll be able to see how far you can go. And this is what's so amazing about this field. No matter if it's in biomedical, aerospace, transportation, or any of those areas, it is just so challenging, and it's changing from day to day. You're not doing the same thing every single day. And that's what's so interesting about it. And the thing is that you can do it. You absolutely can do it. So if you're thinking about pursuing a career in manufacturing, I would give it a shot. I would give it a shot just to test the waters and see how you like it. Look at internships to see if the internship, during an internship, it will tell you how you can actually be able to go in there, and whether you like it, whether you can do it, and all those different type of things. You owe it to yourself to become the best person you are. And I'll leave it to you, Ray. That's it.
Thank you so much, Mary. And Mona, the same question to you.
Rick, I got distracted reading a comment in the chat. Can you repeat the question, please, one more time?
Absolutely. So before we go into the QA portion, I just wanted to ask our panelists to briefly say a few words to encourage young women to think about a career in manufacturing.
Okay, for me, the biggest one is you have to have a passion for Made in the USA, Made in San Antonio. Once you have that passion, you also need to determine whether working with your hands, working with the equipment, improving processes is something you like, and then get in. As Ray showed, the starting wage might not be the best, but look at his other wages. So once you get in, you have a period of learning, but then if you apply yourself, I always tell my employees and everybody, you cannot demand raises, you command raises. And how do we command raises? We command raises by learning a new equipment, a new process, a new technique. I personally would tell women, as long as we keep seeing that there is a difference between women and men in any industry, we have not reached where we need to be. So block it, do what you want to do, get in. Most of men, I will guarantee you, they are very, very supportive to women. You might encounter one or two who are not, and that's their issue. It's not yours. So get in an industry if you love Made in the USA, Made in San Antonio, if you love working with your hand, and start from beginning and build your way up. And you will love it. Like I said, the first time you walk into a store or a product and you see something that you actually made, whether it's a truck that Toyota made or a medical product that Helmi put, something that Knight Aerospace put, once you see it, you're gonna be the most proud you've ever been in your life because you did that. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Mona. So Vanessa, the same.
I was going to say almost exactly what Mona was going to say, and that it's that with manufacturing, you actually create something tangible. It's not just an idea, that there's actually a result of that, and you take pride in that, and the people who work with us take pride in that. And so it's so neat when someone who works here at Dixie goes to a Spurs game or even watches one on TV and they catch a shot, and you get to see the championship banners that are displayed, or the retirement, and someone points and I made that, or I cut the material for that, or I did this for that. And it's neat because there is so much pride with making things, not only here in Texas, but made in the US, but made in San Antonio is super special. But on top of that, specifically with manufacturing, the great thing about it is that you get hands-on training. You have so much opportunity for growth because you can come in without much skill or knowledge, and and learn on the job, get training and experience. And then, as Ray's been saying, there's so much in San Antonio available to give you more information, to develop your skills. So our here at Dixie, our lead seamstress our sewing machine operator started right out of high school and did not know how to sew, didn't know the first thing about sewing, and came looking for an opportunity. And 30 years later, she's training other people on how to make football field size flags. And so with it's really in manufacturing, you really have opportunity for growth and for learning.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. Bianca.
Yeah, very well stated. I would just say that, businesses recognize how important it is to diversify their workforce. And manufacturers are looking for women, and they're providing so many opportunities for women. In a company like mine, I think it's just such an exciting place to be. The women who we have hired on the manufacturing floor have added so much. So if you want to make a really big impact, you can, because you have a whole different perspective, and you bring so much to the table. And in a small company like ours, we're building products that save lives. So you can get super passionate about it from day one. Like everybody said, it's so much fun to know that, and to go home and feel that, sense of accomplishment, and to be able to diversify your career. We have one young woman who started out as a sheet metal mechanic, for instance, and she was really interested in the quality process. And now she's doing a rotation as a quality inspector. And so she's going to be given any opportunity she wants, because she's terrific and she's a great addition to us. And the smaller the company, the more cross-functional you have to be. So women coming into manufacturing get to learn, a whole lot of different aspects, and become super valuable and super marketable to their own companies, and furthering their career. So I just would encourage everybody to do it. The field is wide open. There's lots of room for lots of good girls.
Thank you so much, Bianca. And Terry, over to you.
I'd probably, say what everybody else said about making something. I do feel very strongly that we need to go back to and maintain our manufacturing in the United States. Now more than ever, it's important to not lose the skills that manufacturing brings. One of the skills that we're having a hard time finding are industrial sewers, and I'm sure that Dixie, but I'm sure that you run into that, these skills that are kind of going away. It's important to bring them back so that we can support ourselves as a country. The other thing about women in manufacturing is the opportunities you have to diversify in what you like to do. One of these educational things is where they took the aptitude of people and said, okay, what is it that you do well? Well, maybe when you were going to school, you thought I like marketing, but then you decide, well, I can manipulate data like crazy, and I can be a production planner. And there's things that we've seen in our company where somebody's come in at one level and they just have this great aptitude towards something else. This one woman that we have, she's our CAD operator, and she went out and says, I'm gonna learn how to use that foam cutting machine. And she goes out there and she is just a whiz at it. So that gives her more value to our company, because she can do this and now she can do that. And then there's just so many opportunities. So I think women need to understand all the different opportunities and not pigeonhole yourself into your marketing degree or your whatever degree that you got in school. That there are so many more things that are available to you, and it's exciting and it's fun to see your furniture in a retail store or on TV or whatever. And yeah, you made it. It makes you feel good. And we're all about hiring women. We hire in all areas. We have women welders, women packagers, women sewers, everything. And they're good workers, and they care about their jobs, and they are very versatile. They'll go from one department to another and do a great job. And it's a fun business.
Thank you, Terry. I really appreciate it. At this time, what I would like to do is really kind of open it up to our attendees. And this will be our question and answer period. And as Michelle had stated earlier, if you have a question, please put it in the chat box and we'll go ahead and bring those up. And while we're waiting for those questions to come in, is there anything that maybe one of our panelists would like to say that they've seen a change specifically in more women getting into manufacturing? I mean, we hear that there are a lot of positions and there's a lot of things going on, but what I've heard is that more women are now looking at manufacturing and getting into careers. Have you all seen that?
Yes. I can take that one, Ray.
Okay, Mary.
Absolutely. Over at Toyota, we've really seen a significant increase in women in engineering, women in our quality and production planning, but not only just seeing them coming in entry level, but also they're moving up the career pathway ladder. And this is really exciting to see this. Also too, with our AMT program, we're usually about 30% females in our AMT program, which we're making a big impact within the maintenance workforce. So some of those things are, we're really seeing a change. We're seeing a change in the culture, which is very, very positive, but we're also seeing really it's just the confidence that they have when they're in this environment, when they're able to be creative and be able to see their work, but also the value that they're putting into the work and to the organization every day. And I think this is why we're seeing more women get into it. Is there enough women? Absolutely not. We are still behind the curve in that, or at least we're seeing them come through and we're seeing them going up the career ladder.
Thank you, Mary. Michelle, have we gotten any questions?
So this is from Anna. Anna asks, what are some clubs or extracurricular activities that you would encourage students to participate in order to explore their interest in manufacturing?
I'll give the panelists the first shot. I've got an answer already, but
I'll say
Not a
something,
woman.
Ray.
go ahead.
I can talk about the three organizations, three of them that I belong to, and they are all of them are good entries for women. One of them is SAMA, of course, and I don't know, Ray, maybe, do we have a student membership fee in SAMA or no?
No, we don't. We don't have that, but for the organizations, depending on who they are, we'll do a partnership with them. So that way, maybe the teachers or the principal of that organization can participate in SAMA and get some information and be able to kind of take that information and give it back to the students.
So awesome. And then the other one is for younger, for the women out there, is the Women's Chamber of Commerce. I know Mary from Toyota have spoken at the chamber before. At the Women's Chamber, we always promote manufacturing. We even have a scholarship for women in non-traditional industry. And the last one is NABO, and that's also women a business owner, and we're always open to taking student, and they also have a scholarship for women. So just join organization NABO, the Women's Chamber, SAMA, see if your school or entity belong to it. The more exposure you get to entrepreneurship and to women and non-traditional, the easier it will get for you, and you will build connection.
Thank you, Mona. And just to chime in, if I may, Anna, I can tell you that the first robotics, which is in schools, that would be a great one. Like I had mentioned earlier, it introduces robotics from elementary all the way up to high school students, and it's kind of like an extracurricular activity, if you may, that introduces those students to the mechanics, the introduction, the how to compete with robotics. And they have these, it's like, if you've ever been to a FIRST robotics competition, I encourage you to go to one, and we'll get some information on when the next competition is. But it's like going to a football game. There are cheerleaders, there are teams competing from all over to show off their robots. and what they can do. And it's very exciting. It really is. And we can get you connected with them if you like. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with that, Ray, with the FIRST Robotics. It's always a great program to get into. Some of the other programs that I would recommend for extracurricular would be some of the high schools, or there's some teams out there that have electric car technology, or they have solar car like technology out there too. And again, they work together as a team, and they're putting together the design and actually compete and those type of things. The last year and a half, maybe not so much because of COVID, but those are really exciting to see what these young people can actually do in regards to these type of teams. And the other is just some of the simple things like communication and building up your communication skills and building up your confidence as getting into debate clubs, getting into different types of leadership opportunities. And you would think, well, I'm not a real sciencey type of person, but it doesn't always take science to do that. Just getting into any of the leadership type of positions, even sports, when we do interviews, we'll ask about, extracurricular activity, and we would include sports because we want to know why they got into sports, what kind of position they had, because it'll tell us all about the leadership that they actually were able to take and learn from those type of things. So yeah, there's all kinds of things out there. You just got to be able to go out there and search for them. But first place I would go is go to the school counselor if they're in high school or middle school to find out what some of those activities are.
Excellent.
Question as well. And I don't know how you get into it, but I know that a lot of, depending on the industry that you're interested in, if you can go to a trade show, maybe a local trade show as a student, and you can actually get to know who your prospective employers might be, information about your prospective employers, the type of things that they do, whether it's the industry or the employer. And a lot of times, at a trade show, you're willing to talk to anybody, because if it's slow, it's so you get an opportunity to put your face in front of some pretty high level people. And we do that a lot with some of the design trade shows, where the design students will come and network with all the different companies, and then they get an idea of where they might want to go with their careers.
Fantastic. Michelle, do we have any other
Yep.
questions?
We have several, so we're gonna cruise through these. It said, what specific initiatives are the panelists taking to hire more women? For example, work-life balance and childcare assistance.
Good question. I'll turn over to our panelists.
I'll take that. It's very difficult as a small business to have daycares on the premises, but we do some things that I think really help. First of all, our culture is very family-like, and so we really do give a lot of consideration to people's work-life balance issues. We also work 4-10s, and that means that we work Monday through Thursday, and we're off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think that helps a lot of women too, because they can have a day during the week to do a lot of the stuff that they would like to do, and they still have a whole weekend available to them too. I think people are getting more and more creative about that, and we're always looking for ways of doing that. We're also always looking of ways of including the rest of the family in the activities, so it's not just the person who works here, but the family is involved, and I think that really helps to increase the whole experience for our employees.
I do know that from the training perspective, if young women do get into, or women get into the training programs, I do believe that Workforce Solutions Alamo has opportunities for that daycare need, and also for transportation. So there's a lot of things that Workforce Solutions Alamo can provide in that area.
Anyone else want to chime in on that one?
I can hop in there a little bit. So traditionally, our company has been more woman dominated, more female dominated than it has male. So I remember, back in the 90s where there was only 2 or 3 males and 40 females who worked. And so we've always had a family first kind of policy. And so we're super flexible when it comes to that. And I think that might be kind of like a misconception of manufacturing, is that it's like a punch in, punch out. That I think that many companies are more flexible when it comes to that. So with our family first model, we create schedules so that if somebody has to leave to go pick up their child or their grandchild from school, then we can adjust their shift accordingly so that they start earlier so that they can leave, or same thing if it's a drop-off situation. And so we kind of work with all of our employees individual, whether they be male or female, so that they can kind of have that balance and be able to be successful in their family lives and also in their work lives as well.
Thank you, Vanessa. Other questions, Michelle?
What barriers did any of our panelists experience working, if any, at working in manufacturing?
I can take that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think that the biggest barrier for me was myself. I know that seems kind of odd, but I was my worst critic. I always had to have everything, do everything, be perfect about everything that I was doing and everything. So I really stood in my way a lot when I was younger. And that's one of the things that I had learned in this, is that, at least through my experience, is that it's not to take things personally. So a quick story, we had an executive. She was president of one of our manufacturing plants, and she went through the organization entry level and worked her way all up to become president of one of the plants. And she said one of the things that she actually did is that she kept a box of Q-tips on her desk. Yes, I know it's kind of odd, Q-tips, because Q-tips stands for quit taking it personally. So it's great. It's a great story. It's such a great story that my team, my maintenance team, which is all males, actually made a gigantic Q-tip and they put it in the training room. So when they're critiquing others, giving them feedback, they'll point up at the Q-tip saying, quit taking it personally. But really, I found that we usually stand in our own way when it comes to that barrier. The other one is that going through the years is that, it has been male dominant. We talk about the glass window and those type of things as well. But I've actually seen that change through the years, and it's not so much a barrier as it once was. But still, I'm still finding that with other individuals, especially women, is that they're not confident enough to pursue their dreams or the endeavors of their life, to being able to live their life as they imagine. So that's some of the things that I find that to be the greatest opportunity for us to be able to have self-awareness and to develop ourselves and to come to realization that we're all in this together. Doesn't matter if we're a woman or if we're a man, that we're all equally capable of doing these things. And I think that's the biggest key to that. So really, I know that probably was a surprising barrier, but it's a very true barrier. And that's really what got me started through this, is my trying to face it head on and trying to break down that barrier. And I believe that this is what's helping us with our AMT program with our young females, is because they're hearing the stories like this and they know that they can do it too. It's like the little engine that couldn't, but now it can. It's on the same philosophy. So.
Thank you, Mary.
I have a suggestion, Terry. As a woman, I always want to ask permission for everything. I don't know if it's me or it's a woman's trait, but I would suggest don't ask permission just do it. Just like the Nike slogan, just do it, and don't worry about whether or not somebody's going to like you or approve of you. Just do it. And if you're doing the right thing and it's ethical, just do it. Don't ask permission.
I'll add something based on my own experiences. Sometimes the barrier we encounter are the component that we need to be successful. Because again, 2009, my company was 23-year-old, but the founder, one of the founder, who was a male, passed away, and the new CEO was a female in manufacturing, and I did encounter a few barriers, banks that pulled loans, vendors that were afraid to continue, suppliers. But those rejection and those barriers were the thing that made me want to do it more, because I wanted to show them. So whenever we encounter a barrier, use it to your own advantage. And what Terry said is so true too. And you have to always remember that women are resilient and women have endurance, and that's what makes us great workers. But at the same time, we have passion and we have compassion, and that's what makes us great leaders. So whatever barrier you encounter, use them to your advantage and just keep going, because you can do it.
Thank you, Mona. Really appreciate that. Michelle, other questions?
Have any of you, as being women in this field, have any of you ever experienced being spoken down to or patronized because you're a woman in the industry? And if so, how did you deal with it? I see everybody smiling, but nobody answering that question. Everybody's...
I'll say something. I have at one time, but at the end of the day, it turned out it was me and not the person. So sometimes we tend to assume, and we shouldn't. I was in a meeting where the CEO of the company kept looking at my assistant, who was a male and is a male, and not looking straight at me. And to the point it made Ruben feel uncomfortable. And during the meeting, he's like, "Sir, this is my boss," but the gentleman kept addressing him. And when I left, I was like, oh my God, like, he didn't even acknowledge me. Turns out he is one of the biggest supporter in women in manufacturing and business. The guy is just shy, and he just, didn't want to look, he was just personally uncomfortable because of his culture, whatever. So sometimes try not to assume just because somebody is not looking at you or addressing you or looking down. Try to see beyond it and see what's happening. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, having been a woman in a man's field, starting with my banking career, I certainly know that look that you get when people are questioning, why are you here? Or, are you really qualified to be what you're doing? And, I take it as like fun. It's a fun challenge. And I think the best response is just to just be who you are, be the expert that you are. And it's fun, that moment of inflection when they are like, oh, I get it. That's a good thing. So I just look at it as another challenge. It's just another challenge, and it's a fun one. It's a fun one to disprove their stereotype early on. So I certainly have never let that stand in my way. And I would encourage everybody not to, because if you're skilled and you're confident, it's going to be dispelled immediately. So just wait for that first opportunity to do that.
One of my mentors always told me it's so much better to be underestimated than overestimated. So what Bianca said is true. It's let them look and underestimate you, and then when they finally get it, it's like, wow. So.
Yep. Absolutely, I agree with that. Just being your true self in all circumstances is really should be the only response that you have.
Okay, so this is a really good one. I think it's on a business level. It says, while women are leaving the workforce in record numbers, they are increasingly switching to male-dominated industries such as construction, transportation, and warehousing. Have you seen increased competition from other industries looking to hire more women? And if so, how are you addressing that increased competition?
Yeah, I'll address that. You know, Mona said something earlier, and it's absolutely true. I just never try to lead with my gender. I want everybody to respect me for what I bring to the table, regardless of whether the fact that I'm a woman. But we're living in an environment where diversity and inclusion and all of this is being talked about all the time. And so there is an overt effort to bring more women and more diversification into the workforce. And, I take that as an opportunity for the young women who are listening to this. But I totally would agree with Mona is, that leave that at the doorstep, lead with your skills, be focused on that. And you're going to find that you just get the respect that you need earlier in the process. And that becomes a moot point, whether you're a woman or a male or a man, it's not going to be relevant anymore. But yeah, absolutely. I think, the environment is changing. There's a lot more competition because everybody's trying to hire more women. So we just need to, lay back and enjoy this ride because it's to our advantage.
Yeah, and then when you when you don't hire based on gender, it's ironic that when when my husband ran the company and he was the CEO, we actually had a woman as a production manager. And currently I have a man as a production manager. So that just shows you it doesn't really matter women, man, it's whoever is qualified at the time. And we need more company to think that way. And honestly, the majority do. If you encounter one who doesn't, then time will teach them and time will correct them. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, this is another one coming in. What are some of the traits you look for when hiring for entry-level position interns?
I could take that since I have been doing interns for quite some time now. Some of the traits we look for are more on the employable type skill sets, on, their ability to be a critical thinker, being able to solve problems, the really why they want to be an intern at our company, try to get a good understanding where they're coming from, get a little bit of from their background. We want to know what kind of team environment they've been in and what role they played in. And then we'll have some specific ones that are related to the manufacturing itself, such as what does a safety culture mean to you, those type of things. But we also want to see whether or not they have initiative or if they're a self-motivator. And if they are a self-motivator, we want an example. So those are the type of things we're looking for to see whether or not we're going to have somebody that's going to be truly engaged when they come in there and they do an internship with us.
Mary, that's a good point. I talk from my position, I talk with manufacturers across the spectrum, all the industry sectors. And some of the traits that many are looking for is to be communicative, to be able to look, look at another person in their eye and be able to communicate effectively. Also, aptitude. You got to have the desire and the willingness and the aptitude to be able to show and demonstrate that you are, that you understand manufacturing and willing to learn. I think that's a big one too, is willing to learn.
Yes. Absolutely.
Anybody else have any insights on or any traits they look for differently than Mary?
I personally, the one thing I look for is just an indication of good work ethics, because once you have that, I'm able to deal with anything else. I can deal with the training and with the teaching, all that, but it all starts there. You need to have good work ethics.
Excellent. So Michelle, I think we're towards the end. Unless you have another question, I will just want to say thanks to our panel members, and in 20 seconds, 30 seconds each, if you want. Is there anything else you would like to say? Mona, I'll start with you.
I'm gonna repeat, just wake up saying I've got a job to do and I'm gonna do it. And it doesn't matter if I'm a man or a woman. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do the best I can, and I'm gonna lead with passion and compassion.
Thank you, Mona. Mary?
Thank you, Ray. So really for my 20 seconds, it would be that there is a lot more to manufacturing than what meets the eye. I would say go in there, explore it, experience it. Here you'll find yourself and also become, that individual that becomes adventurous, being able to solve problems, be a critical thinker. It is very, very exciting. So treat it as an adventure and as something that you can learn and keep in your toolbox for the rest of your life.
Good words, Mary. Bianca?
Yeah, totally agree with that. There's just so much opportunity. I would just encourage everybody to at least look into it. If you're a problem solver, you're going to love manufacturing. You're going to love going on the floor and trying to figure out how do you do this better, quicker, more efficiently. And if you're someone who wants to take a step back and admire the job that you just did, you're going to get that opportunity all the time. So, I think it's a wide open world for girls that are interested in this and women who are interested in this. And I think that you're going to find a very, very rewarding career in manufacturing.
Thank you, Bianca. Terry?
Well, what I would say is that we're hiring. If anybody wants to come and check out our website, we've got a lot of positions, different types of positions. Again, we're new to Texas, so we're on the upswing in hiring. We've had the opportunity to employ a lot more women here than we did in California. And it's been exciting, and it's been great to get to know the women who've come to work for us. They're so generous with their ideas and passionate with their ideas. And again, we have jobs available in all elements of the manufacturing process. If you want to be in the office and work that angle, if you want to do purchasing, if you want to actually get out and work on the robotic welder or, the fabric cutter, we've got all sorts of things. So, if you're really interested and you want to see what this whole environment has to offer, we're here in Comfort, Texas.
Thank you, Terry. Vanessa? You're
No,
muted.
Oh, am I still muted? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I think final thoughts, whether it be in manufacturing or just developing yourself as an employee, as a professional, is to get involved. And that's how you develop those skills that are going to get you your first job. So for students, anything you can get involved in, whether it be a club, as you enter a career, if you can get involved with the trade association, not just be a member, but actually work on a committee, that's going to help you develop those skills that can help you along your career path. So definitely get involved in something outside your comfort zone.
Thank you, Vanessa. At this time, we are at the end of our panel discussion, and I want to thank everybody for participating, especially our panel members. And if you want to know more information, or got some other questions, I provided some links here for you that you can ask SAMA. You can go to sama@sama-tx.org, ask your questions. From the the greater SATX, I have Christopher Mayhem's email address here too, if you've got questions on SA Works or other programs that are available. And of course, we're going to have this recorded presentation on YouTube. It'll be on our SAMA website at www.sama-tx.org. And we really appreciate everybody, the comments, the questions, the participation. It's just been an awesome deal here, and we're very glad to be able to provide this to everybody. So on that note, unless we've got some chat, I'm getting a lot of chats going on right now here. Great session. Thank you. Christopher sent out his email address again, and we're looking to share with our students from Auna. So thank you so much. Glad to be able to do this. We are adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Great job. Really enjoyed it.